media, we encourage you to share on Facebook to those who are in your network. We want to thank everyone who made our regional meetings in the Midwest, Southwest 1, and Southwest 2 a blessed success. We acknowledge our national leadership, Dr. Jerry Young, President, Dr. Alvin Edwards, General Secretary, Dr. Alvin Love, Chair of the Federal Faith-Based Development Initiative, Dr. Michael O'Miner, National Director, NBCUSA Liaison to the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. In this evening TempleCare Matters webinar, we will share about May's suggested health observances. Namely, they are the American Stroke Association, American Stroke Month, National Mental Health Month, NBCUSA H.O.P.E Mother's Day Bells for Remembrance, National Mental Health Month, Breast Health Awareness, which is Sunday, May the 12th, National Women's Health Week, which is May 12th through the 18th, Power to End Stroke Sunday, which is May 21st. We also will have updates from Let's Move NBC USA and our newest initiative, Sisters, that's SIS-TAS Against Breast Cancer. This evening's webinar is supported by funding from the National Institute of Health All of Us Research Program. We want you to join our NBC USA H.O.P.E team in becoming 1 in a million in one of our nation's most robust research studies. To learn more about the All of Us Research Program, you can go to www.joinallofus.org/NBCUSA. And our landing page again is www.joinallofus.org/NBCUSA. If this is your first time joining one of our webinars, we want you to participate in our NIH All of Us Research Program, pre and post-test surveys. We will post the link in the chat box for the pre-survey now. And we'll share the post-survey near the end of this evening's webinar. Thanks in advance for your participation. This webinar is part of our continuing series of First Tuesdays TempleCare Matters webinar that have evolved into hybrid events with virtual and in-person watch gatherings in our local NBC USA congregations. In each session, we dwell deeper into the 7 pillars of TempleCare Matters that you have seen on your screen. Now it's time for our TempleCare Matters 7 pillars. Now it's time for our triple-demic update. Flu, COVID-19, common cold, RSV. Is this the summer that COVID goes away? No, the virus isn't going to disappear completely. But with hospitalizations at their lowest level in 4 years and data collection requirements sunsetting, it may be retreating to an afterthought status in the American psyche. This milestone came and went with little fanfare. After more than 4 years with COVID-19, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention recently reported that the lowest new weekly coronavirus hospitalizations since the pandemic began. There was no celebration or publicized statement. It's safe to say that most Americans had no clue about the occurrence, though they may just be how they prefer it. The CDC started publishing weekly COVID-19 hospitalizations in August of 2020. So the data doesn't represent the entire pandemic. Still, experts agree that it is a noteworthy trend and likely accurate as wastewater viral activity levels are low and deaths are also declining. The really good news is we're really hitting the lowest numbers in terms of hospitalization and deaths since the pandemic began, says Dr. Moshkaburn, an infectious disease expert at the University of Minnesota. There were over 5,600 new COVID-19 hospitalizations during the week ending on April 20th, according to CDC data. That's compared to a peak of more than 150,000 new weekly hospitalizations during January 22. Let me repeat that again. There were 5,600 new COVID-19 hospitalizations in this year in April, the week ending April 20th, but in January 22, there was over 150,000 new weekly hospitalizations. As long as people continue to be mindful of those in our community who are at the greatest risk for severe illness and death from COVID, this is shaping up to be a summer where we'll continue to watch the data. But right now, I'm seeing a lot of positive signs in the data, says Dr. Carrie Afhoff of the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health. May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. Mental health is wealth, especially during Mental Health Awareness Month, which is celebrated in May. The stigma around mental health and treatments has long existed, even though this has started to change. Still, people hesitate to seek help or even talk about it with their loved ones for fear of being judged and facing unnecessary backlash. Simple logic dictates that if we are hurt anywhere, we must seek treatment to get better. This applies both to our mental and physical well-being. Now, for this month's special feature, this evening, we will conduct a candid question and answer session about strokes. We are excited to have three wonderful panelists for this month's featured question and answer. A brief overview of their work. We have Dr. Mariela Cornija, who is a current chief neurologist resident at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center Department of Neurology, incoming vascular neurology fellow at the UTHSC Department of Neurology. In fact, all three of our presenters are from the University of Tennessee Health Science Center College of Medicine. Our second presenter is Elizabeth Garcia. She is the incoming neurology resident. And we also have with us today Kishan Sinaja, who is a current third-year medical student at the University of Tennessee Science Health Center College of Medicine. And he is the president of the Students' Interest Group in Neurology College of Medicine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a few questions to help guide our discussion this evening. Feel free to chime in as needed. First, what is a stroke or brain attack?
Thank you very much for the introduction. We're going to go to answer each question. We're going to start with Elizabeth answer the first of the questions. I'll have the slides ready for her.
Yeah, so what is a stroke? This is an excellent question. A stroke, or sometimes called a brain attack, is a medical emergency that is time sensitive. And what a lot of people we see have heard about heart attacks before, but might not be as familiar with strokes. And really the what's going on in the body is very, very similar between the two. In a heart attack, there is a disruption of blood flow to the muscle of the heart that causes the heart to pump. And in a stroke or a brain attack, it's the same thing. The brain tissue is not getting enough oxygenated blood or high quality blood to the brain. And this in turn causes injury or even death to that brain tissue.
Okay, thank you so much for that information. So we know what a stroke is. What causes a stroke?
So, stroke can be caused by a couple of different things, but the way I like to explain stroke when it comes to working with patients who have had a stroke, I like to explain it using the pipe analogy. So, you can see on the left here, this is a clean, healthy looking pipe on a bathtub. And the pipes are representative of arteries in our bodies. Arteries are the pipes in our bodies that supply blood, fresh blood, to all around our body, including our brain. When we have health conditions such as high blood pressure, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, and have lifestyle factors such as smoking, this can cause plaque buildup on the outside parts of the pipe, and this causes narrowing of the pipes, and that makes it more difficult for blood to get where it needs to go. That can cause a stroke by the narrowing of the vessels, and similarly, those health conditions like blood sugar and high blood pressure that I mentioned, in addition to drugs such as cocaine and methamphetamine and trauma, this can cause weakening of the vessels that can ultimately lead to bursting or weakening of the vessels that makes it so that blood can no longer get to where it needs to go in the brain. These are all different things that can cause stroke in the brain. Finally, heart conditions such as abnormal structure of the heart, or abnormal rhythm of the heart, such as atrial fibrillation or AFib, that many people may have heard of it before, that can cause strokes in the that can cause clots in the blood to form in the heart, and those clots can get dislodged and go up to the brain and similarly block those blood vessels from supplying blood to the brain. So all of these different mechanisms are a way that strokes can occur in the body.
Okay, thank you. I like your demonstration, your diagram rather, of the plumbing pipe. It makes it really, really clear. So are there different types of strokes?
That's a great question. There are two main types of strokes. These are ischemic strokes and hemorrhagic strokes. And this talk this evening will mostly focus on ischemic strokes. And that's the ones I was just discussing, with narrowing of the blood vessels, clotting of the blood, all causing ischemia or damage due to lack of oxygen to the brain tissue. This is the most common type of stroke that we see all over the nation. This accounts for about 80 or 85% of strokes that we see in hospitals. There is a second kind of stroke called hemorrhagic stroke, and that refers to bleeding within the brain that also causes damage to the tissue due to blood coming out of the blood vessels that supply the brain.
Okay, okay. So I guess it's important for us to know what are the symptoms of a stroke. We need to be able to recognize it.
Absolutely. This is probably one of the most important slides in this presentation. And we use this mnemonic or memory tool that's called BFAST as a way to remember the types of symptoms that patients with strokes can start out having. So this BFAST stands for balance. So patients might have balance issues, dizziness, difficulty walking, even headaches. They might have changes to their eyesight, such as blurry vision or blackening of their vision or spots in their vision. Patients may have drooping on the side of the face where the mouth, in this photo here, you could see the mouth is drooping on one side of the patient's face. An arm or leg on the same side of the body might become numb, or the patient might not be able to move it at all. It can become weak. And finally, speech difficulty. So some patients with stroke might suddenly be unable to talk. They might have stuttering of their speech or slurring of their words, or just speaking differently than people around them are used to hearing them speak. And sometimes even patients might have difficulty finding the right words in the sentence that they're trying to say. So they might be mixing up the words that they're saying, and it could sound like word salad almost. The most important letter in here is T for time. So this stands for the timing to call 911 is as soon as possible, as soon as anyone recognizes these symptoms in a patient. It could be all of these symptoms, it could be just one symptom, but calling 911 is the absolute best thing to do, and that needs to be done as soon as possible, immediately.
Okay, be fast. I like that acronym. I've heard of the fast, but not the be fast. So that is really good. What should I do if I think someone is having a stroke?
Great question. So, like we just discussed, calling 911 as soon as possible is the most important thing to do. It's also important that people know to not try to drive themselves to the hospital if they think this is happening to them, because, of course, we can see how that could be dangerous for themselves and for other people around them on the road. Another thing that we see in the hospitals sometimes here in Memphis is that patients sometimes try to sleep it off. They might not be feeling well. They might have some of those symptoms on the Be Fast slide, and they go to sleep hoping to feel better in the morning. And unfortunately, that is not a good thing to do, because we like to say time is brain. And the reason for that is when patients with stroke are going without treatment, every single minute, 1.9 million neurons in the brain are dying. So that is why getting to the hospital, getting treatment as soon as possible is so, so important. And when 911 is called, highly trained emergency services all over the country. So we're based in Memphis, so we often talk about the Memphis emergency services, but all over the country, EMS services, paramedics, firefighters, they are all trained when they respond to 911 calls to be able to recognize a stroke if the patient that is the service is being called for demonstrates any of those symptoms on the BFAST. So they would recognize that this patient might be having a stroke, and they know right off the bat that that patient needs to be brought to hopefully a comprehensive stroke center. So there are these stroke centers all over the country, in pretty much every large city, and that type of center will be able to take care of the patient's need from all different angles as they're having the stroke.
Okay, so what are the major risk factors for a stroke?
And that is an excellent question. And we just, this is from the last question as well. I wanted to go into this about the Stroke Prevention Task Force. So this is something that we have at the University of Tennessee, and we believe this is something that should be all over the nation, for all universities and really in every community. But this is a volunteer community outreach, community education organization made by medical students here at the University of Tennessee. And what we do is go around to local community health fair events, whether that's at schools, churches, other community centers, and we talk one-on-one with the community about those things that we're talking about tonight. So the Be Fast and the calling 911 and getting to the hospital as soon as possible. So our goal is to empower these community members to recognize the signs of stroke like we're doing tonight, and equip everyone with the knowledge of what to do next if they were to recognize someone having those types of symptoms.
Okay, and are some people more at risk than others?
So we can go to the Keyshawn.
Yeah, so we like to talk about incident strokes happen when certain people when people have certain risk factors. The risk factors, we have a mnemonic that we made up. We call it do catch strokes. So each letter stands for something different. The D stands for diabetes and dyslipidemia, or high lipid levels in the blood. O stands for obstructive sleep apnea, which is when you kind of stop breathing at night temporarily. And we'll kind of get into that a little bit further here in a second. Chronic kidney disease. So if you have kidney damage that's unregulated, that puts you at a risk of stroke. Atrial fibrillation, which is a type of abnormal heartbeat. AFib, as we call it, or any other abnormal heartbeat can put you at an increased risk of stroke because that causes blood to kind of pool in your heart and clot to form. And that clot can travel up some of those pipes in your body up to your brain. Tequila or any type of alcohol, cooking. So our diet's arguably the most important thing to regulate. High blood pressure, prior strokes, and smoking. So all these things are very important risk factors to kind of mitigate in order to prevent strokes from happening in the first place.
Okay. And how can we prevent strokes?
Yeah, so like we talked about, right? We wanted to mitigate all those risk factors. If you could skip ahead to the next slide, that would be great. One more. Over there. So public enemy number one for strokes is diet. All those risk factors we talked about previously are linked to diet. We're based here in the South, so the Southern diet, as delicious as it is high in fats, is high in processed meats, is high in sugar, and all these things put us at an increased risk of having a stroke. So there are different ways we can kind of mitigate that. If you mind going forward, Leo. Sweet, thank you. So lifestyle, changing our diet. The most important thing about changing diet is making small changes over a course of time. And those changes need to be things that are also achievable to keep, and they're achievable, and then it's able to maintain that. So something I like to tell patients is use a little bit less olive oil every time you cook. Because we use a little bit of olive oil contains a fair bit of fats and then a lot of calories. And then that could be, week one changes, and you can move on to week two changes. So small changes over a long period of time make a big difference. Exercise is extremely important. When people talk about exercise, I know my mind jumps to jumping on a treadmill and running for 30 or 40 minutes, which I cannot do. So exercise can be something as simple as walking around with your friends and family for 10-15 minutes in your neighborhood, or instead of taking an elevator up 2 flights of stairs, take the stairs. So any type of movement helps a lot. And another really important thing I like to talk about is a blood pressure log. I think the best way for a patient to take care of themselves is to get them involved in their own care. Because sometimes when you have physicians and healthcare providers talking at people, it's kind of hard to feel like you're playing an active role in your health. So taking your blood pressure at home every single day at the same time and keeping a record helps a lot, because you can take that record, see an improvement in your blood pressure, and that's motivation for you to keep on making the changes that you're making. And then alcohol and smoking cessation, pretty self-explanatory. Reduces your risk of having a stroke. And on the left here, we have different treatments for high blood pressure. So the most important one is weight loss. The second one is changing your diet. So there are different types of diet that we recommend. Here it's the DASH diet. So the DASH diet is low in fats and high in fruits and vegetables. Exercising is important. Dietary, watching your sodium intake, and then alcohol intake are two other very important things to keep a lookout for as well.
Okay. So what are the effects of the stroke?
All right. We're going to talk now about what happened after the stroke. Sorry, your question was what are the effects of a stroke, right? So think about your brain as the computer of your body. So there are parts of the brain that takes care of the strength of the right side of your body. Other parts take care of the strength of the left side. A part of it takes care of your speech. Another part takes care of the capacity that you have to understand what other people are saying to you. Other part takes care of your balance. So depending on which pipe is the one that was affected, that we're going to have different symptoms. And that's why some people present with weakness, other people present with slurred speech, and so on. So those are the effects of the stroke. Now, Common questions we get are how fast I'm gonna recover, am I gonna recover fully, and I'm gonna be back to normal, how long is it gonna take me? So to answer those questions, we have to remind ourselves stroke is the #1 reason for disability, not just in the US, but worldwide. And then the second thing to think about it is about the question of how long I'm going to take to kind of get better. Think about if you injured your skin, it's gonna take like 7 days to heal. If you break a bone, it might take like 3 months to heal. If you injured your brain, it might take at least 3 to 6 months to fully heal. And also, if the stroke size was larger, it might take longer time for it to heal. So that is like the expected time of recovery or prognosis. And then unfortunately, even with like proper care, they estimate that at least now 50% of the people who get a stroke per year are able to go back to be functional. That means like the other half is not able to get back to functional. And all these prevention conversations that we're having right now and that people have around are to try to get everyone informed. So we kind of try to reduce. If you know that this is very important to go straight forward to the emergency department and treat, and I can like I can save more of the brain tissue, then it's gonna be there less disability in the future. So if you come on the first 4 to 5 hours since symptom onset, you can be a candidate to receive the medication to kind of fix the stroke. There is a medication we give through the IV, and then we have another type of intervention that we give to patients that have a large vessel clotted. So if you get into this like good window of time, we can save most of the brain tissue, and then your disability or your sequela of the stroke is going to be as little as possible, or maybe even none.
Okay, so time is really, really important, huh? Okay, so what kind of rehabilitation is available to stroke victims?
Perfect question. So every time someone comes to the hospital with a stroke after the rush hour where you try to give the treatment to fix the stroke, then they're going to, on the first 24 hours, they're going to be seen, besides the doctors, they're going to be seen with a multidimensional approaching team. So you have the physical therapy person coming to see you, the speech therapist coming to see you, the occupational therapist. So they're going to take care to assess different areas. Is this person able to go back home and do their daily activities, like perhaps dress themselves, shower themselves, cook for themselves, do grocery shopping? Do they live alone? Do they live with someone? How many stairs they have to go up to be able to get to the room? Are they going to be able to go back to work? If there's any speech difficulty as well, they will make a diagnosis, and they will also set up like a number of appointments that you will need to do after you're done with the hospitalization. These are the three main things that they're going to take care of: activities of daily living, assess if you're with the stroke sequela that you're having at the moment of the fresh stroke. Of course, this is potentially going to get better, but at the moment of going home, if you're good to go home or if you need some rehab. So there is different types of rehab. If there is a rehab that they will send you from the hospital to a place where you get 3 hours of physical therapy per day, and they do it within 1 to 3 weeks, depending on how much you're able to do. And if you're like in great shape after a couple of weeks, then you have to wait for 3 weeks, right? So that is like very active physical therapy since very early stage. And what is like the plan that we normally have for stroke patients. There are trials that try to see if it was risky or beneficiary if you start physical therapy within the first 24 hours. And they demonstrated in a large group that the best to do is start physical therapy within the first 24 hours post-stroke.
Okay, so if I had a stroke, will I have another one?
So that is also perfect question. That is going one step ahead. So out of those 800,000 people who have a stroke per year, guess what? 1 out of 4 of those strokes, 1 out of 4 of those 800 thousand, are happening in people who already had a stroke in the past. That means like the rate of recurrence is high, and it is higher on the first 90 days post-stroke. So if you had a stroke, the next 3 months are crucial because the risk of a stroke is increased. So what do we do to stop that from happening? So it all depends if your team is able to find out why is that you had the stroke. So when they gather everything together, the scans that they did from your brain, from the vessels of your neck and your head, from the lab work that they did to see your cholesterol levels, your sugar levels, they're going to be able to put all of this together, based on the location and based on the how your vessels are. They can find out which is the reason why you had the stroke. Whenever they find that out, then they will be able to put you in the right medication to prevent recurrence. That medication plus the lifestyle modifications that we were talking about, the diet, the exercise, the quitting smoking, those are going to make you have prevent a second stroke. So the pills or the option of pills are going to depend on which type of stroke you had. So this group here, antiplatelets, means those are the ones that try to prevent the extra of like we have some components in the blood that takes care of healing tissue. But sometimes when you injure a vessel because you're a smoker or because you had very high sugar over a lot of years, so those things injure the vessel from inside. So those platelets who are supposed to heal injuries, they go and try to like patch it up, but they pull cholesterol from the blood, so they start making like a narrow vessel. These medication antiplatelets are to prevent that like narrowing of vessels. Another option, and then the cholesterol pills go with it. And then another option for treatment, if they found that the problem is that you are having an abnormal rhythm of your heart, or your heart is weak and is forming the clots that go to the brain, then it's going to be blood thinners for you. Besides that, they might find that you have other risk factors, perhaps hypertension or diabetes, and they will also address those with medication.
Okay, so what can our churches do to assist in stroke prevention?
Thank you. And this is also a great question. So talk about Be Fast. You know now what is Be Fast? Talk about it in your group of friends, at work, in your community. So if everyone knows how to identify and make the phone call right away, that will be the best they can do. Remember, time is brain is time, time is brain. And another thing that is very useful, because when we get patients from the EMS, from the ambulance, sometimes they are not able to talk because maybe the stroke symptom is that their speech is impaired. And then they're not able to tell you, this is my emergency contact. My family member knows everything about my medications and that I had a stroke in the past, maybe. So if you are in this situation where you're like calling 911 for someone else who's having a stroke, if you happen, like if you know this person, if you happen to know like the emergency contact, make sure that you can give the person, the ambulance, the personnel, the staff, the first responders, if you can give like a contact information, so they will be able to address all the like prior maybe health conditions that this person has, if they are already in blood thinners. This square that is on the bottom is of the things that they normally that we normally would ask in the emergency department to the ambulance staff. So having a health card sometimes is very useful on your wallet. That could also be something to do.
Okay, so National Baptist Convention USA will observe Power to End Strokes on the third Sunday, which is May 19th. And for those who are joining us, you may download our toolkit from our H.O.P.E website. We've covered much in our discussion. Is there anything else that you would like to add today?
Just to
To
tell
our
everyone,
panelists?
let's please maybe take a picture or print screen about this last slide. This is for community. So if you would like to see, oh, can you remind me which are the like numbers that I should be getting on my blood pressure, on my sugar, on my cholesterol? You can you're gonna see there's a QR code there, and I can also send that to any of you through email. Which are the numbers I should be looking into my blood pressure? Which are the number of servings I have to eat? How do I manage stress? How do I start exercising? How do I quit smoking? How do I organize my pills? Those are QR codes that you can scan with your phone, and those are going to take you to links. So if you have like a print screen option there, or you take a picture with your phone, that can be helpful for anyone.
Okay. Well, I'm getting my phone out to take a picture. Okay, I have it. Is there anything else? If not, we would like to thank you so. I'm sorry, go ahead. Does someone have something to say?
In the chat, Minister Moore says, will we have access to the slides presented?
Okay. Will it be possible for you to share your slides?
Yes,
So
absolutely.
Okay, all righty. So if you could just email them to Sister Carper, how would you like to get those?
I'll put my email in the chat.
Okay, I didn't know if we should do that or just send it to Dr. Minor or Sister Lottie.
Oh, okay, yes, we can
Or
do
send it
that.
to the Hope
Yes,
NBC. Can you type that email
address.
address in the chat box,
Yes,
please?
ma'am.
Okay, Sister Nettie Johnson has already done it. Okay, thank you, Sister Nettie. You can email it to info@hopenbc.com. Okay, and what a great presentation. It has been very enlightening this evening, and we just want to thank you for your presentation. And we want to take time, if there are a few questions, Sister Carper, I don't know if we have some questions in the chat box we need to address.
No, ma'am, that was the only one about the
Okay.
slides.
All right, well, very good. Well, thank you to you from the University of Tennessee Health Science Center. We appreciate your presentation today. I have learned a lot, and especially how important. I'm going to have to go put a emergency contact card in my wallet. So should something happen to me, and encourage the rest of my relatives to do that as well.
There is a
Okay,
question. Oh, excuse me, Minister Moore. There is a question.
Okay.
What is the impact of high TSH? What is the impact of high TSH?
That's an excellent question. So the TSH, which is a thyroid hormone, sometimes is associated with abnormal heart rhythms. And as Kishan was saying, abnormal heart rhythms can sometimes put you in risk for a stroke. So it's something that you for sure will need to address with your primary care doctor if the TSH is abnormal. It's more risky when the thyroid is overworking than when it's like working less. But that is the relevance of TSH. It's one of the things that we screen in the hospital when a patient with a stroke comes. Yes.
Okay. Are there any other questions, Sister Carper?
No, ma'am, that was it.
Okay. Well, again, we want to thank you all for your presentation. It's been very enlightening. And if nothing else, we know that time is of the essence for not only for getting to the hospital to get treatment, but also rehab. I didn't realize 24 hours, I believe you said. So thank you so much for that information. Okay, now it's time to get moving with NBCUSA family. Let's hear from our NBCUSA movement champion, Sister Nettie Johnson.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks again for that tremendously informative presentation. As Minister Moore said, because there's so much, time is of the essence, and there's so many things that we can do to prevent the risk of stroke, as well as to reduce the effects of it if one happens to have one. That was just tremendously informative, so thank you so much. March is a number of health awarenesses. Minister Moore read several. And then one of the things that we did hear verbalized at least 3 times, and I saw it on the screen, we were talking about the stroke risk. It said exercise of any kind or amounts counts. Exercise of any kind or amount counts. And May is also National Physical Fitness Month. Y'all, month after month after month, no matter what health situation, we are raising awareness for exercise does come up. So this concept of moving however you can, whatever fits, just being consistent with it, making it part of our lifestyle. We hear it over and over again. It's not new to us. We're true to it with Let's Move National Baptist. And I just want to congratulate those of you that are continuing to move your body for your health and for stewardship as a way of honoring God as well. Y'all, we've been hearing so many great things about folks that have been gardening more with the weather change, going outside and walking more. Even someone said they're adding a weight vest when they go out walking, going to the YMCA. I think it was Sister McLaughlin said that her church has a group exercise class and they are increasing it from 1 time a week to 2 times a week. So we just really want to celebrate all of those. And we have a couple of shout outs where they sent in selfies and we want to share those. Brother Duke, were you able to get those JPEGs or should I share my? You got it. We want to give a shout out to 2 folks here, Sister LaJuan Harris. Now, and this goes into how lifestyle behaviors count as exercise. She says, first of all, she loves dancing. And she's walking, but she said that as part of her service and celebration for her birthday, she participated in a giving event where they collected a number of handbags and purses. And she said, even just doing the physical manual labor of collecting all of that while she was doing something to be a blessing to someone else, she felt blessed because she said that even counted as her activity. And so we want to just congratulate and say bravo and praise God for you seeing how physical activity is part of your life, not an inconvenience to your life. We also want to congratulate on the next slide, Sister Lee Merriweather. Now, everybody that has been turning in your minutes, whether your minutes were 100 or where they were, like Sister Merriweather, 21,000 active minutes last month. She is very active with walking and doing a number of things. And I thought it was so cool that she shared that she participated in an 8-week walk across Texas program, as well as doing a number of walks for awareness, charity walks for things like breast cancer and lupus awareness. Bravo to you. And we also want to just say praise God and congratulations to those, because we had several that reported over this past month that they've had conditions where maybe they were ill. Several people said that they had surgery, but yet and still, they made it a focus to keep movement as it fits for their body. Somebody said, I'm moving as my body will allow. That's what we're talking about. And that's what we're continuing to encourage. So we want you to keep on doing what you're doing. If you haven't started or you need a push, we're here to push you. Reach out to us at letsmovenbc.com. And as I close out, we want to say congratulations to our drawing winner. So someone is going to win a $100 gift card, and they were on the person we picked was on the webinar, because you have to be on the webinar to win. Let me make sure to see they're here. Okay, and this call, the winner is Mary Boykin. Mary Boykin, congratulations on your movement and being selected as this month's Let's Move National Baptist gift card winner. Are you available to come online and share a little bit? If you'd like, we can unmute you. Are you able to chat?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, congratulations.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes. Is there anything that you would like to share?
Yes, I had a left total shoulder replacement done on March 29th. So my balance was a little off. So I had to kind of hold on to a Dolomite walker to kind of until I gained my, I was so afraid that my socket was going to come out, my prosthesis was going to fall out or something. But anyway, I'm over that and I'm doing very well. And I'm back to walking and increasing my exercises, and I'm sleeping better, because before my surgery, I was only sleeping about 1.5 hours per night. And now I'm up to 7 hours. So I am profoundly grateful, which means it gives me more energy in the morning to do my exercises and to take care of my personal hygienes and etc.
Oh, well, first of all, praise God for your successful surgery and your recovery, and praise God, you're getting more sleep. Sleep is a beautiful, needed thing.
It is certainly needed.
Yes, and congratulations on continuing to move even with the surgery. I just pray that God continues to heal you quickly and completely, and that you just keep on getting better and better. I'll reach out and make sure that I have a great mailing address. Congratulations, we'll get that out to you. Y'all, congratulations again. And that's all for Let's Move National Baptist. I just thank God for all of you for your consistency. Take care. God bless. Be well. Back over to you, Minister Moore. You're muted.
Sorry. Okay. Congratulations to our winner. And for those who participated but did not win, you are still a winner, because we've learned from tonight that when we exercise, we will have healthier lives. So we are winners. May not be with the $100 gift card, but you are a winner. Okay, so thank you, Sister Nettie. Moving is a good thing. Now we remind everyone about the NBCUSA collaboration. Okay, I hope y'all can hear me. We want to remind everyone about our collaboration with NIH, All of Us Research Program. Our community isn't just unique in culture and tradition, but also in our health needs. Participating in the All of Us Research Program is a step towards making sure health researchers consider all our needs. Visit www.joinallofus.org/NBCUSA now to enroll in the program and help make research more inclusive. #JoinAllOfUs today. We also have a special QR code to promote NBCUSA involvement with NIH. And Duke, if you would show the QR code on the screen. And we ask that each of you would scan the QR code now and share it with others. We're going to give you a second to scan the QR code. Okay, so next, Dr. Miner, who is our leader of the Hope Ministry, has promised to provide a $400 marketing stipend to the region that has the most UTMs and web-page analytics each month. Duke, which region won this month?
Drum roll. The winner for the month of April is Southwest Region 1.
Okay.
Yay, Pastor Bernard.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Southwest Region 1, Pastor Bernard Montgomery. Awesome. This concludes our contest. Congratulations to all of our regional meetings. Now we will hear from Sister Estella Bryant as our national co-chair. She will share about our newest initiative. Sister Bryant.
Thank you, Minister Moore. Good evening, NBCUSA family. I bring you greetings from the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church of Liberty City, Miami, Florida, where my husband, Reverend Dr. Jimmy L. Bryant, is pastor. And I also, before I continue, would like to add that was such an awesome presentation on stroke. Be fast. I will be sharing that information as usual with our congregation on the third Sunday. But this evening, I'm excited to share about our newest NBCUSA Hope initiative, Sisters Against Breast Cancer. Sisters is an acronym for Sisters in Step to Achieve Success. This October, we will launch our convention-wide Women of Color Breast Cancer Awareness Month campaign. We envision a myriad of activities highlighted by our Sisters in Step walk, run fundraisers across the country. We will use the proceeds to help us fund mammograms, assets in our rural and inner city communities. We are looking for point persons from each of our NBC USA states. We will be scheduling a meeting later this month. And if you would like to participate, no, let me rephrase that. Please participate. Email me at sg2back@aol.com. That's S as in Sam, G as in girl, the number 2, BACK like the back of your body @aol.com. I look forward to a great planning section and a great campaign. Thank you in advance for your participation, and I'm looking forward to working with each of you. Okay, back to you, Minister Moore.
Thank you, Sister Bryant, for that presentation. And Sister Bryant, if you don't mind, would you type your email address in the chat box for those who might not have got it? But great presentation. And we certainly encourage all of our NBC USA ladies to join in our newest initiative, Sisters. Okay, so this coming Sunday is going to be Mother's Day. On Mother's Day, some of our NBC USA churches will observe Bells for Remembrance for Black women and breast cancer. Bells for Remembrance is a breast cancer awareness event that many congregations have chosen to hold on Mother's Day. The goal of the Bells for Remembrance campaign is to encourage all women aged 40 and older to get annual screening mammograms. On Mother's Day, these congregations will also mark Bells for Remembrance to celebrate by ringing a bell or striking a piano key to emphasize the importance of breast cancer screening and to remember those who have struggled with the disease. You may download a Bells for Remembrance toolkit from my NBC USA Hope webpage. Also, Mother's Day marks the beginning of National Women's Health Week. National Women's Health Week encourages women and girls to make their health a priority. Learn more about how to live a safer and healthier life. Women personify many roles in our lives. 2 out of every 3 caregivers in the United States are women, meaning they provide daily or regular support to children, adults, or people with chronic illnesses or disabilities. Women who are caregivers have a greater risk for poor physical and mental health. Preventive care can keep disease away or detect problems early so that treatment is more effective. Protect your health by identifying the care that you may need. As I stated earlier, if this is your first time joining one of our webinars, we want you to participate in the NIH All of Us research program pre and post surveys. We are pasting the link for the post survey now in the chat box. And it is hopenbc.com/all-of-us-post.survey. But check the chat box and write it down. And we do want you to complete the surveys. And again, we want to thank you for your participation. Well, we have covered a lot this evening, but the best part is coming now. We want to hear from you. You can type in the chat or raise your virtual hand. For those watching on social media, we'll do our best to capture your questions. We once again want to thank NIH All of Us Research Program for being our major sponsor this evening. Okay, let's open it up for questions.
Dr. Moore, we have a statement on Facebook, and hoping that our doctors could have to share about that. It says, I heard in the news that it's starting to be considered that doctors are writing prescription for exercise versus right to medications. Could our you panelists fill in on that?
Okay, can you repeat the question again, Duke?
Okay. The statement says, I heard in the news that it's starting to be considered that doctors are writing prescriptions for exercise versus right to medications.
Okay, can one of our doctors address that?
It's definitely a combined therapy. So for stroke prevention, you need medications, depending on which type of stroke you had, to prevent recurrence. Exercise is part of the whole management. So more than both together rather than one instead of the other one.
Okay. Are there any other questions on social media or in the chat box? I'm looking, I do not see any. Do you see any, Sister Carper?
No, ma'am. No,
Okay.
no, ma'am.
Okay, well, this concludes our question and answer period. And let us not forget our May marketing updates. American Stroke Association, American Stroke Month, National Mental Health Month, NBC USA Hope Mother's Day Bells for Remembrance, Breast Health Awareness, which is Sunday, May 12th, National Women's Health Week, May 12th through the 18th, The Power to End Strokes, May 21st. You may download the complete list of annual health observances from our website, and I believe I do see that link in the chat box for our suggested health observances. That calendar would be for the entire year of 2024. You can find additional information and resources on our webpage, www.hopenbc.com. Upcoming events, National Baptist Congress of Christian Education in Memphis, Tennessee, June 17th through the 21st. For more information, email info@hopenbc.com. The agenda for our next TempleCare Matters webinar, which will be June 4th, is Hope Summer of Health and Awareness Vacation Bible School Summer Camp. June is Men's Health Month, National Cancer Survivors Day, which is June 2nd, National Health Fair, which will be held during our National Congress, June 17th through the 20th in Memphis, Fireworks Safety Month through July 4th. You may join on the web and social media. Again, our webpage is www.hopenbc.com. You can join us on Facebook. Our Facebook page is National Baptist Convention USA Inc. Hope Health Initiative. Or you can join us in our Twitter feed at Hope_NBC USA, or our YouTube channel, which is NBC USA Hope. If you would like to enroll in our NBC USA Hope Health Ministry training in person or self-paced online, you can email info@hopenbc.com, or you can call 901-603-0762. We would appreciate your feedback. Would you kindly complete our webinar survey? The link again has been posted in the chat box, and it is online at hopenbc.com/webinar-survey. We appreciate the tireless work of our NBC Hope team, Dr. Michael Miner, Dr. Desi Levy, Lottie Miner, Nettie Johnson, Pastor Dexter Maraney, Eleanor McKnight Hill, Dr. Felicia Washington, yours truly, Minister Geraldine Moore, Loretta Miller, Dr. Lavora Williams, Bettina Campbell, Dr. Marion Talley, and Thomas Duke Robinson. Our 7 regional coordinators are Pastor Daniel Blackburn from the Northeast, Brooklyn Rogers, Southeast, Pastor Bernard Montgomery, our winner tonight from Southwest 1, Linda Carper, Southwest 2, Teresa Failspar, Midwest, Teferio Robinson West, Pastor Richmond Johnson, Far West. To connect with your regional coordinator, email info@hopenbc.com. We know that some of you have additional questions or comments, so we will formally close this evening's webinar in just a moment. We'll open the mics for a general question and answer session. We hope to see you on Tuesday, June 4th, 2024, for our next TempleCare Matters webinar. Finally, we acknowledge our president, Dr. Jerry Young, who reminds us to envision the future exceptionally. This has been a production of the National Baptist Convention, USA, Inc., the nation's largest Black denomination. God bless and God keep you in our prayers.